Hello, everybody. Olwyn Jennings here, your spiritual guide and divorce empowerment coach, coming in with the energies for this week from today, the 1st of December, till Sunday, the 7th of December. So, first of all, happy December. We are now in the 12th month of 2025, coming now towards the end of the universal year 9. Getting ready to step into the universal year 1 next year, even though we know the calendars are kind of man-made a little bit, but they're the energies that are coming through. And of course we have the year of the fire horse in Chinese horoscope next year, so from February. So things are definitely going to be moving at a different pace next year. So December, when you think of December, it's definitely the end of autumn. We're coming into winter. We've got the winter solstice this month. It's meant to be a quieter month. If we all lived according to the seasons, especially, well, in the Northern Hemisphere, December is a quieter month. Just look at nature. It's kind of not shutting down, but it's released, hasn't it? It's kind of just gone quieter. Traditionally we'd be hibernating, that sort of thing. But the thing is, December can be a really crazy month, especially, with family and if you're celebrating Christmas and all that sort of thing. So it's important to remember that we need to look after ourselves because, it's fine to be socializing. It's fine to be doing all the things December tempts us with. But it's also a good idea to make sure that you're doing things to look after yourself and self-care and giving yourself permission. Like, if you don't want to do something, just because everybody else is doing it, you don't have to. All right, give yourself permission to put your warm woolly socks on and do whatever it is you need to do to remind yourself that you are worthy of some peace and quiet, even in crazy times. Hi Zoe, I know it's crazy. December it is. This week, you'll be glad to know the skies are a little bit quieter, but there's always something going on, of course. The main thing this week is the full moon. I think it's a super full moon, actually, in Gemini. It's the last full moon before we close out 2025. It's going to shine a light on maybe what you've been allowing this year. I've been talking about you getting clarity for the last few weeks and seeing where it is you are perhaps not being totally true to yourself. So perhaps you're giving too much, or you're beating yourself up over something, or you're telling yourself a story that isn't quite true. And this week promises to bring that clarity. So it could well be, that you finally release the old stories you've been telling yourself. So if you feel like, if you've been telling yourself you're not good enough, it's time to let go of that story. If you've been putting up with something that's not good enough, or someone that's not good enough in your life, then again, is it time to let that go? Or is it that you've been putting up with it because you just don't feel like you deserve something better? So maybe it's time to change your behavior around it so that it's not as, so you're not allowing the disrespect or whatever it is you might be a part of. It's also a good week to be reviewing your year. How, we've got the winter solstice, well, not for a few weeks, but we are heading towards the winter solstice. So it's a good week for reviewing, your year, good and bad, what it is that you've liked about it, and remember to do that and be grateful. Have a look at what you haven't liked about it, what hasn't worked, what is it you don't want to repeat, because I think I mentioned it last week, maybe the week before, going into 2026 is our opportunity for a new timeline. So, who do you want to become in 2026 or become more of in 2026? What do you want to do more of in 2026? What brings you joy and what doesn't? So don't do the things that don't, if that's possible. So what's your story going to be? And then we've got, I think, is Mercury meeting Saturn this weekend, and that's all about, having a plan. So how can you make your plans tangible? And Gemini and the full moon in Gemini. So Gemini invites change. So this is all about, putting a full stop on certain things. And then when you do that, because you are going to get clarity this week as to what it is, like a real aha moment if you haven't had it already. If I could tell you that you've probably done yourself a disservice this year many times, would you believe me? Because what I'm being shown here is that most of us we've been doing the work, definitely. We've been doing the healing. We've been realizing our values again, and we've been trying to see how we can change things, but we're still, some of us and some of you are still a little bit frightened of what it means if the change that you need to make happens. So have faith that you're being shown all the right things. Your intuition is really strong. Most of you that are listening to this, your intuition is really strong. You've got your guides, you've got your angels. They're all there to help you. And sometimes our intuition and our guides show us something or tell us something, or we see a repeating pattern, or something in our head continually, and we might just ignore it because it's convenient to ignore it and because it's too scary to do anything about it. But actually, we're going to keep getting shown all of that until we make the change. So it wouldn't be being shown to you, or you wouldn't be intuiting it if it wasn't true. Okay, and I'm saying this to myself as well. Okay, so I'm including myself in this. All right, so only you can create the change that you want in your life. Okay, so it's time to start not just thinking about it. I'm laughing because literally my guys are going, yes, this is you as well, when it's about actually taking the action. And I feel that my guys already said to me that this week is a really good week to make that plan. So I am going to do a review of my year this week. I am going to tune in and into what I like doing and what I don't like doing in terms of my business, but also in my personal life. I am also going to do something about it, because sometimes personally what I've done is I've held on to things because I thought, oh well, especially my business, maybe somebody will want that one day, or maybe I'll just keep it because it's all right. It's not doing anything, but it's all right. But actually, sometimes you need to let go of the thing that's not working so that you can invite something better in. And this is what it's all about. This is what going into 2026 is all about. So if you can start now, if you can start making your plans now, it's going to be good. I drew a couple of cards from the Light Seers tarot deck as well before I came on here, and we've got the King of Swords. So the King of Swords really knows what he's doing. He's like, right, I've had enough of this. This is the plan. This is what I'm going to do. He's not doing it through, arrogance or anything. He's got there's an owl there. There's lots of wisdom around him, but he's also got this, divine masculine. Let's take action. His wisdom's really coming in, his intuition and his kind of ego are on the same page. It's that kind of energy we're looking for this week, even though we're under the energies of the full moon, which is feminine. And that's great for really enhancing our intuition and feeling into what we want, but we also need to take the action. And then we have the Hanged Man. Now, the Hanged Man is one of the major cards in one of the cards in the major arcana. And the Hanged Man is all about looking at things from a different perspective. Okay, so maybe you've been seeing things slightly wonky. Maybe you've created a narrative around something to make it seem not so bad, or you just have looked to the outside to try and sort it out when actually it's something on the inside you need to do. But it feels like that you're going to see things like it's about trusting the wisdom, trusting what's coming in, following the light. Okay, and that really fits in. This week's also a really good week for communication. Again, Gemini is really good, are really good communicators. So any difficult conversations you perhaps haven't had, it would be a good week to have them. If it's possible, like if the other person is willing. Yeah. So it's a good week, right? I feel it's really positive. So let's just see what else my guides have to say. But a lot of that I'd already tuned into and had a chat with them about. So I feel like you've got most of it. But let's just see, because sometimes they have a bit more to say. Right. Okay, so yes, so everything that Olin's just shared is, of course, how she sees it, how she intuits it, and what we've already discussed with her. So yes, so really, you know, we're not talking about New Year's resolutions or anything like that. We're just talking about really being honest with yourself, reviewing the parts of your life that have been tricky as well as the parts that have been good. But when you're focusing on the tricky parts, could you have done something differently? What can you let go of? Did you tell yourself a story around that to keep yourself safe? Or did you deal with it? Maybe it was not possible to deal with it at the time, but this week it could be a really good time to take action. With the communicative Gemini going on and the full moon as well. You know, full moons are always about letting go. And then look at the things that have gone well as well, you know, and be really pleased with yourself. You see, you humans are so good at concentrating on what you haven't achieved or what you feel you haven't achieved that you forget to congratulate yourself for what you have already done. Okay, so please take some time to do that this week. December is meant to be a quieter month in your world, so you know, what can you do to take care of yourself each day? A little bit of acknowledgement of the year, a little bit of, you know, you've got through some tricky times. We know you all have. It's been a tricky year for everybody. Yeah, so really use the energies of the full moon, and we do feel that there is clarity coming for a lot of you. It may not be the clarity you thought you were going to get, of course. It may well be that it's different information than you thought you might receive, but it still will bring you that clarity. And it's good, right? It's always good to have the knowledge. It's good to know what's true and what isn't. And it's time to be really honest with yourself about where you want to head next year. What is it you want to do? Now, we're not talking about setting like major goals. We're talking about, you know, how do you want to feel? How do you want to show up? You know, are you overgiving in certain areas of your life? How can you take better care of yourself? Next year is going to be a much faster paced year. So you really need to be ready for this. So it's a good week to have a good week, and it's a good week to start making some plans, and also put your dreams in there. Don't constrict yourself, constrain yourself, and let the universe take care of the rest. Let the universe give you what you can deal with, what you can cope with, which is a lot more than you probably feel that you can. All right. So we wish you a really, really good week. Okay, so hope that made sense. And I hope you have an amazing week, and I will be back next week. Bye for now.